Let's bring in Derrick Anderson, who served 6 tours with the Army throughout the Middle East and is now running for Congress in Virginia. Derrick, good morning to you. What do you think about this Israeli counterstrike, the timing and scale of it?
Yeah, Carly, thank you again for having me. Look, if we look at some of the statements that Prime Minister Netanyahu has stated recently, they're strong. He's come out strong in his defense of what Iran has done over the last weekend. And he is the leader of Israel and needs to show strength to the world right now. Look, I was a Green Beret. I trained with the IDF in Israel. I was shown the outskirts of Gaza and the tunnel systems. And I've witnessed what struggles Israel and the IDF are having to go through right now. And so I've also fought in Iraq and Afghanistan, understand the region. And let's be clear, nobody wants war right now. But Hamas started this. And is still a threat and has over 100 hostages still in captivity. All the meanwhile, we see Israel has a threat to the north by way of Hezbollah. And we just saw the attacks that Iran had just this past weekend from their homeland for the first time. And let's be clear, this is not the first time Iran has fired against Israel. They've been doing it for decades just by way of proxies, terrorist proxy organizations. So we've seen how the Iranian proxies have fired over on our service members overseas. Even in Iraq, when I was there, we had Iranian proxies there using explosively formed penetrators, killing and injuring thousands of United States service members. So at bottom, Prime Minister Netanyahu cannot show weakness right now, especially after this past weekend's attacks. And they 100% have the right to defend themselves.
Yeah, you're right about Iranian proxies usually launching these strikes. But now that Iran has, there are questions about Iran's military capabilities. A lot out there about what we learned following this attack, like the country is capable of firing 100 missiles all at once. But at the same time, half of them failed to reach their target or crashed before they even started the launch. So in terms of Iran, how strong is the country militarily, really?
Yeah, I think you're right, Carly. This attack showed that Iran likes to try to bolster their chest with some puffery, sending hundreds of rockets over. But one, we saw that their capabilities of those rockets, even though they can potentially carry nukes in the future, they kind of were lackluster. More importantly, I think what was interesting about that was the overwhelming support that we saw from some of these Middle Eastern countries. It looks as if they don't want war either. So we did see some counterattacks and the missiles being taken out, not only by the United States and our forces overseas, but also Jordan and some of these other countries. So at the end of the day, I think it was it started off as you watched the rockets coming through the air. We saw some of the videos from Iraq of some of the people there, chanting Allah Akbar as the rockets were going across the sky. But at the same time, a lot of those rockets didn't make it, but I think Israel's Iron Dome and some of the other things that they have to prevent those rockets from hitting were effective. So it showed that Israel has the effective resources to be able to stop these rockets from coming in, but at the same time, Iran was not necessarily as successful in what they thought.
No, they certainly weren't. So one of the other big stories of the day, Derrick, are these pro-Palestinian protests that are popping up across the country. Places like Columbia University, Google's headquarters, and also Capitol Hill yesterday during Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin's testimony. Watch this.
We've again seen the exceptional skill and professionalism of our forces after Iran's unprecedented and reckless assault on Israel. We will continue to stand ready to protect our troops in the region and to support the defense of Israel. And our commitment to Israel's security is ironclad.
The committee will stand in recess until the Capitol Police can restore order. Capitol Police, please remove the demonstrators from the room. Committee's in recess. Please remove.
We have blood on our hands.
Please remove all protesters from the room.
What do you think about this?
Well, it's terrible.
Costing the speakership. The voters expect.
Sorry, go ahead, Derrick. I think we had a little audio issue there, but go ahead.
No worries, Carly. We see how this is happening right now. This is a direct result of Biden's weak leadership in response to Iranian-backed attacks by Hamas. Whether it be the initial attacks by Hamas on October 7th or the hundreds of attacks by these Iranian-backed proxy terrorist groups, including on our service members in the Middle East. The Biden administration, the Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, have been a day late, a dollar short on every response. This lack of leadership, this empowers and fuels our enemies overseas, as well as some of these pro-Hamas organizations here at home. And these pro-Hamas protesters are supporting a terrorist regime that murder people, they kidnap them, they drag their bodies through the streets in celebrations, they suppress women's rights, and absolutely hate America. So for those folks that continue to praise Hamas, and subsequently Iran for that matter, I charge them. See how they'd be treated back in those countries. But it's an unfortunate situation. It's a situation that the Biden administration and the Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, have created based on their lackluster and equivocating support for Israel.
It is a very unique and uncertain time. Derrick, thank you so much for joining us.